Hey everybody, I got a video here for you before I gotta get going. Now, if you watch my videos, I uploaded one a little earlier today and I asked for some viewer feedback, and based on some of those responses I thought I would make this video. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but what the heck, I'm not afraid to throw a theory out there, especially one that can be linked up to so much good evidence. But if you watch my videos, you know I've talked about the Shroud of Turin and how, if you do a little bit of research, you can trace the true history of this back 2,000 years and place it in Jerusalem and Turkey. It was originally known as the image of Edessa, and I believe this figure on the right is from a royal family that came originally from Edessa, Turkey. And this image on the left here is the one that people were familiar with and linked to the shroud, going back 2,000 years until about 100 years ago, when the image on the right was reproduced or originally produced. And this figure on the right, I don't know, am I seeing things? But this appears to be of a man between 50 and 60 years old. That's just the way it appears to me. And that's exactly how old this royal member from the family from Edessa, Turkey was. He was 55 years old when he was caught by the Romans. He was actively involved in the Jewish revolt and civil war. He was a highly admired man who converted to Judaism, and he taught it. And I just think this is the story, the foundations of this man's life was taken for the real story, or the biblical fairy tale story, piece of love story of Jesus. There are so many things that link these two together. The story, the history of these two guys, if you research it, it is very identical. I think Ralph Ellis's research is excellent, but this man was crucified in the Kidron Valley at age 55 by the Romans. These wounds on the shroud are exactly the wounds described in the Bible, and I just think that this was the holy relic that was sought for the last 2,000 years. Now, the Holy Grail, I believe that can be linked to Joseph of Arimathea originally, by people who have done Grail research. And who takes Jesus off the cross? I believe that was Joseph of Arimathea, and wraps him in a linen. But anyway, I just thought I would mention that. But Leonardo da Vinci, I believe he knew the Templar secret. I believe the Romans, the church, sent the Templars into Constantinople in 1204 with a specific goal of retrieving this object. I believe the Templars got their hands on it, and they knew the mother of all secrets. They knew who the real Jesus actually was. He was not a divine figure, but he came from this royal family from Edessa, Turkey. And I believe they kept the shroud, and I believe that is why they were rounded up on Friday the 13th, 1307, because no one had a greater secret against the church than the Templars. This was their great secret. I believe they put it into Rosslyn Chapel. Once again, I will leave links from my previous videos below. But once again, I want to state this, that I don't think anybody should be offended. I'm just trying to do some history into the real, where the Romans or the church got this story that we now know as the New Testament. And I believe it was based on this figure, and nobody should be offended by that. Spiritual tales from ancient time. The authors did not require you to believe they were true stories from history. You were just supposed to gain spiritual knowledge and insight through them. So, you know, nobody should be offended by my videos, but I read my messages, and I know a few of you are offended by my videos. But anyway, Leonardo da Vinci, I believe he knew of the Great Templar secret. I believe he could have put it into the Last Supper portrait, and I talked about that in one of my previous videos. And people have tried to match the Mona Lisa up to the shroud, and they've done a pretty good job. I find those videos fairly interesting, at least. But what I find even more interesting is this image in linen on her left shoulder that appears to be a face, nose right here, eyes close together, maybe even a mustache, maybe something around the head here. Was Da Vinci putting his knowledge of the Shroud of Turin into the Mona Lisa's shoulder? Many of you saw the same thing I did, the image of a face in linen. Da Vinci knew a lot of things. He liked to encode things. Was he putting it plain as day right on her left shoulder? That appears to be the image of a man. And also, I just wanted to mention this. This background has been, research has said it to be an area of northern Italy, not far away from Turin. I just thought that was interesting. But was Da Vinci putting one of his secrets, at least, in the Mona Lisa? His knowledge of the Shroud of Turin, some of the features of the face match. I will leave links below, but right on the left shoulder is an image of linen and what appears to be a man's face, and that's all the image of Edessa was in its early days. It was folded up, and it just showed the image of the face. I find that very interesting. Some of you say, maybe he's crazy. Well, I say, maybe I'm not. Hope you thought this was interesting. You have a nice day.